maybe everybody can acknowledge, Corey, me, Erwin, Sandeep. So we are convened. And the first item on the agenda was the next meeting dates. And I think we have some time to, establish that, and the new management will be doing that, because it'll be after the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I'm phasing off the committee, and I, for a couple of the subjects that, we are still collectively involved with, I still am interested in participating in some fashion, but I don't know what it is at this point.
We can make you an advisor.
Or an auxiliary member even,
Right.
which is a non-voting member, so something like that.
Can I propose a motion now that would govern next year?
Sure.
I was thinking that given the big task of doing the contract has been completed, and we had all talked at one point about meeting once a quarter instead of every month.
Right.
So I would like to propose that now, that when we decide on the next meetings, we do it once a quarter. Because I don't think we have enough business month, because you do such a fabulous job.
Yeah.
And whomever takes over the committee will have you on fast dial, so.
Okay.
Well, and we had discussed some of that at our last meeting,
Yeah.
And that would be partly governed by the budgeting process
Yeah.
that Julie
Yeah.
goes through.
Yeah.
And then also by the requirements of the Comcast contract in terms of occasionally and ideally at least once a year, having an open session
Mhm.
so that people could speak up about, individual issues that they had with Comcast.
Mhm.
And there is a process which I think should be more widely broadcast, that if anybody has a problem, they call somebody, either on the select board or in the past, it has reached, the light board.
Okay.
So,
Well, we can suggest to those two entities to forward them to us, right?
yes. Yeah.
So that doesn't require a vote, does it?
No. it
Or
doesn't.
do I have a second?
Second? I
Sandy.
second.
Yep,
Oh,
second.
Second.
Okay, great.
so
Okay.
How do we phrase the motion?
That we move I'm gonna make it a simple sentence, that we move from meeting once a month to meeting once a quarter, unless otherwise needed for operational purposes.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
second.
Yeah, we had,
All
yeah,
right.
you seconded it, yes,
Yeah.
so, let's have a roll call on that.
Yes,
Erwin,
Yes,
Sandeep, yes, yes.
Aye.
So the motion is passed.
yeah.
And this will be going to the, select board. As, part of the new charter, whatever we have, or, whatever the committee has as its new charter, date TBD, but, sometime in early 2026.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so we've done that. M&M update, is that you?
Yes. Well, we met earlier this month, so two, really don't have, well, anyway, two highlights. Did I talk about Fenway Park last time we met?
yes,
I did,
Yeah,
okay. So that we filmed at Fenway Park on Thanksgiving, because every Thanksgiving lately, anyway, Fenway Park has this high school football at Fenway. And every year they invite a couple, or maybe it's 6 high schools to come and play at Fenway. And Fenway Park, they turn that into a football field. I don't know how they do it, but they did it. And so Concord and Lexington played football against one another Thanksgiving Eve. And therefore, the Concord and the Lexington stations were invited
To film it. Cool.
We'll work with Fenway. Fenway did a lot of the filming, but we live streamed. We have over 1,000 views on that and on
Wow.
YouTube now. Yeah,
Yeah.
of the game itself.
That was a big blowout game for Concord.
Yes, Concord won 32-0.
Huh.
But it was so exciting being at Fenway. I mean, it was filled with, Concord people, Lexington people. It was just a community feeling.
Yeah.
And the Concord principal, the CCHS principals were there. Tracy Morano from the school committee was there. The cheerleaders were there. Spectators, families, friends. The Concord Minutemen were there. So
And
We-
people got good seats.
yes, that's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of yeah.
Yeah.
There was you could sit anywhere you wanted.
Yeah.
There was no assigned tickets. It was nice. So we live streamed the actual game itself, but in addition, what I'm really excited about is Matt and I also filmed a behind the scenes
Oh,
of the
cool.
whole. So we made a video of that opportunity.
And that's on YouTube?
We're finishing it
Okay,
now.
okay.
And if you wanted to, I could show you maybe the beginning of it now.
Oh,
Maybe the first few minutes. It's exciting. I think it's great. And if I may, I would show you that. The other update is the Concord Middle School Library and Minuteman Media putting audio and video equipment in the library, which is
At the middle school?
at the middle school, so utilizing that space where the Concord school committee would meet. So Sandeep, just to fill you in on my conversations with Lori, is she said that the Concord Carlisle Regional Committee would still meet at Ripley. And that the
That's the
library,
understanding.
okay, would be just, so what that means is that Minuteman would film in the middle school once a month
hmm.
and then film at Ripley also once a month.
Uh.
Well, it depends on your schedule, but it's
Yep,
rough,
yep.
right? 2 and 2. So, yeah. So what we've done so far is I'm working with the town of Concord's procurement manager and the assistant CFO because we had to do an RFQ, request for proposal. So I'm working with Gail Dowd on that.
It's
and
Gail Dowd.
Gail Dowd is a procurement manager
Okay.
for the town, but she's also procurement manager and has been on the whole middle school building project. So she's involved in helping with the request for proposal, money and buying equipment and things like that. So that's where we are. The rules are that you have to find a vendor to do this who is on the state.
Approved list. Yeah.
Yes. And we have to get 3 quotes, and I know the 3 people that we want to send it to. And I would say round numbers, 30K, 35K is what it would cost. And I'm told that it would be paid by the school, that they have funds, Dr. Hunter said, that she would like to use for this. Of course, that's not a guarantee, but that's what, I was told. So it's not going to come out of MMN's budget, but we're involved in helping to select the right equipment and the right vendor, but we won't pay for it.
So this would be a stationary operation at the
Yes.
library?
Exactly.
Because just a couple of weeks ago, Sandeep, I believe you were there. The League of Women Voters did a project with the students that was enormously exciting. The participant students picked a project and they had it on their laptop and they did research on how you could approach that problem, what needed to happen. So you had a whole 2 rows of kids on either side of the front foyer area because they couldn't all fit in the library.
Wow.
With laptops, they get a laptop and they get they did a lot of research. And the kids really came up with some, I thought, wow, these are middle school kids. I mean, they really,
Wow.
yeah. I said, oh, too bad we didn't know because this should be on the
I
film.
know.
Sandeep, I would say that anything we could film at the middle
Middle
school
school.
would be a good idea, given there's still feelings about that.
So listen, the whole community chipped in to build an awesome new middle school, and as much as we can showcase that back to the community, I think it's a win.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that note, we also participated in a site visit. They are considering maybe having town meeting at the middle school.
Yeah,
Yes.
but once you look at the parking, I don't think that's ever
Well,
gonna
that's the
happen.
big issue.
Yeah.
So I mean, so last year, right, we did have overflow parking at like Alcott, and we were driving from there. We
Mhm.
might have similar options, right? Again, I know that's not what we're discussing here, but
Yeah,
overflow parking at other lots and just have shuttles.
The difference in the parking though
right.
is
Oh, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
profound.
yeah.
And I don't know what the cost benefit would be. I mean, holding hearings at the middle school and doing the town meeting at the high school might be a better, because hearings don't involve that many. I
Right.
think could adequately host a hearing
Yeah.
beautifully. And
So a few weeks ago, there was an official site visit where we were invited to come, and Dr. Hunter was there and Carmen Reese, town moderator, was there.
okay,
And we all took a tour together to discuss, would this work? Does this place work for town meeting? And the interior does. Like
Yes.
Carmen was saying
She was
today.
saying this morning, yeah.
Yeah, that she loves it. The interior, the use of the auditorium overflow to the cafeteria.
Yeah.
It's already
The gym,
equipped.
yeah.
For us,
Yeah.
it's already equipped with cameras and audio and monitors and the gym.
No.
So
maybe they
It's
could do it as
just-
a satellite, like.
That's not a bad
Cindy,
idea.
that's an idea, so using it
Yeah.
as a satellite. And,
Yeah, because they've always done that at the high school.
right,
Yeah,
so they could,
without overwhelming the parking area. yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll see what they do. But because it's a possibility, they included us in early on that.
Good.
On the
good, so
tour.
we'll be prepared for whatever
Yeah.
comes down.
Yeah.
But the cameras are set up then, though it could be, it's a multi-use facility now, right? For
In
other
the,
types.
in the auditorium.
Yeah.
Right, as of right now, they do have cameras in the auditorium. But the library is what we would be building
Yes, yeah.
January or February, whenever we can get that done, Q1.
But,
So
considering
making it
the-
more useful, more and more.
maybe the 10-year future, it is nice to think about,
Yeah.
multi-use of that building, or at
Mhm.
least, the
Mhm.
public or accessible parts of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's the more people use it, I think, because
Yeah,
to get their money's worth.
and it's
Yeah.
very accessible. I used to live in West Concord and, very accessible.
But it's interesting for me to hear and good for me to know, I guess what you were saying is kind of the emotional feeling that that residents have, because they did, like you said, that everybody paid for it, everybody wants to see it.
Although
So that's good for
Lexington
me to know.
has put building schools in a whole nother category.
Corey, you're probably tracking this too, right? And Newton is planning $1 billion high school.
Newton is?
Yeah,
Well,
it's not approved yet, but that's the plan.
Newton has more of a tax base than,
They do.
and, it's a larger population in the proximity to Boston and things like that, but that's a larger issue than we can solve at the moment, but boy, things are, I
Yep.
don't know. And, everybody wants that tax-free holiday in the summer. That money that we don't collect that day generally goes
Ah.
to school building assistance and to the MBTA. So I would vote against it because I needed that 24%. And I think, for 6 point
Yep.
whatever, I'm a shopper and that wouldn't entice me. That's not a sale. You're not talking a sale until you're 20%. People who buy just so they don't pay the sale.
Just for the tax. Yep.
Anyway,
Crazy.
I'm glad those are not problems for us.
Ooh.
So if I could now, I can show you how the Fenway video is looking. So
Oh, that's
what
awesome.
I do is give me a minute here. I need to pull it up. Oh, it's right here. Okay. Whoops. Okay, let me go to our Zoom and I'm going to share my screen. If I have that, let's see if I can do that. Yes. Here it is. Okay, can everybody see my YouTube?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Wait a minute, you have to hear the bell in the very beginning. Let's see if we can get that.
This is such an exciting night for the town of Concord and Carlisle. Our high school football team is playing against Lexington here at Fenway Park on Thanksgiving Eve. All right, I'm with Aaron Jonkis, our athletics director. The team's going to be taking the field soon.
Yep.
How's the tone in the locker room?
I think our kids are just really excited to be here. Being in the Red Sox clubhouse, kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity. We got here pretty early. We're lucky with wasn't a lot of traffic, so the kids sat up in the stands and watched some of the game before us. Got a feel for everything, but you know, anytime you walk up the ramp, you see the grass, so the green monster. You know, kids are up on the jumbotron. I think it's going to be a great experience.
And how are we feeling against Lexington today?
I don't love to make predictions, but we're ready. I think we got a great game plan. You know, the two communities really have a lot of respect for each other, but I'm hoping that we come out on top.
All right, so I just found a whole bunch of friends from Concord that are here to support the football game tonight. So tell me why you guys are here.
I'm here just to support the Concord Carlisle program, and I just think it's a really great team. I'm here because I want to watch the CC Patriots play football. I'm here because I want to support them, and my best friend's dad is the coach.
I found the Concord Minutemen. Here we are in the bowels of Fenway Park. How's everybody doing tonight?
We're doing it great.
So tell us what you're going to be doing tonight on the field.
So tonight, we're going to be the end zone militia, just like the Patriots games. We're going to fire after every time the Concord Carlisle High School football team scores. And the current record is 4 wins to no losses to Lexington. So we'd like to keep that going.
I found Concord Carlisle High School principal and assistant principal, Brian and Megan. How
Annie Bus 26
I'm gonna go
Tour
forward.
of the control room and the WEEI sports radio booth that we are borrowing tonight. We get to be here in this booth where legends have broadcast the game. Tonight's broadcast is being directed by our very own Matt Barron. Matt is directing the live stream. He is dealing with the video and the audio feeds, sending it to the folks at home, parents and grandparents who couldn't be here tonight, and they're able to watch this game live at the Minuteman Media YouTube channel.
So a great part of Minuteman Media's coverage tonight is our collaboration with the high school radio station WIQH. I'm going to let them introduce themselves and talk about what they're going to be doing tonight.
Hi, I'm Claire Razor. I'm a senior and I'm the WIQH program director, and I'm here helping with tech setup.
Hi, my name's Trey. I'm a junior and I'm here as the chief engineer, setting up all the tech stuff, and I'm the music manager.
My name is Owen Lamont.
Be able to be up.
Hey, and tell us why you're here today.
So you get the idea. Then we have all the
comeback
the game,
rivalry games. This is awesome.
then they won.
In the second half, we had a good halftime. Coaches helping us up, pumping us up, and in the second half, we produced. A very fun time. You know, this is my first time actually, but you know, I love the experience here. I love my team. I love everybody here, and that's about it. Yeah.
We battled out the whole game. All the seniors. This is our last game. It was wonderful to be here. You know, I'm happy to be a part of this program. I'm happy for everybody here.
You know, CC.
Opportunity. I told the guys next time if you're ever on this field, you're going to get tackled by security. So I said, this is just amazing to be here. So much history here, and it gives you goosebumps being out here.
Congratulations. Who do you have here?
It's my son Owen.
They must have been out of their minds excited. My God, they must all have a copy.
Oh, yeah. So. Oh. So it was really fun.
Well, he's impressive. I know that he's higher up in the team than most. I guess.
All right.
At football.
So that was. Okay, we're back.
Okay.
That's great.
Great, absolutely.
Thank you.
Another potential award winner for
That's
Alliance for
right.
Community.
Yes.
That's right.
Everybody in the country knows Fenway.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so that video was a draft. I don't know if you even picked up, a few things might have been out of,
We-
we're,
We weren't looking for anything.
yeah, it's not polished yet, if you notice anything, but, yeah, so that is, we're polishing that up and finishing that up, and then we're just gonna blast that and promote that.
Oh, yeah.
that
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
We, it's just an extra special thing that I wanted to do. We had this great opportunity to film at Fenway, and I said, well, we got to make a video about the fact
Filming it,
that we
yeah.
got to film at
Yeah.
Fenway and that the high school kids were playing at Fenway. So that's what promoted that. So we brought extra cameras and did all that behind the scenes
Great.
stuff. And I just ran around and interviewed everybody, and it was a lot of fun. So
I-
we'll
Oh,
promote that.
sounds that way.
It's going to
Yeah.
be about 15 minutes. Go ahead.
So Julie, did you get to enjoy or were you just running around?
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that.
She was running around and
it-
enjoying.
And enjoy.
It was fun. It was fun. And I used to work before here in Lexington. So all my
Oh, so okay.
Lexington buddies, they were in the booth next door to us, live streaming for the Lexington residents. So that was fun.
Yeah.
And
This is the game we won 30-0.
yeah, 32 to nothing
32.
to zip. Yeah.
Uh,
And then the last thing on my list is we recently went to an awards, a conference and an awards ceremony for our industry, the Alliance for Community Media. And we did come home with 2 awards. Now, not first place, but we got a second place. We got a second and a third place. So in third place, we came in a category called overall excellence. So to enter that category, you submit a reel of clips of a variety of all the work you've done for the year. So you show them the government stuff, the parades, and you put it all together in a reel. So out of the whole Northeast region, we came in third. And then as a second place winner in a category called community impact, we won for a adorable video that Matt made about the COA and the the van drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Council on Aging van drivers. And it was a cute appreciation video where he interviewed not only the drivers, but the COA folks who who get picked up in the van, they get picked up from their house, they get
Yeah.
brought for events, how important that is. So we got a second place award in the Northeast region for that.
All
And
right.
it's really, it's stations from Maine down to Queens, New York. So when it
Right.
includes New York, I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So this was for coverage in 2025.
Yes.
And so all the material was in there about, the shot heard around the world and everything that was going on.
We did submit our coverage of the 250th.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah.
That's amazing that, that they didn't really pick up on that.
I know.
Strongly.
I know.
I mean, that's a once in a lifetime for everybody then.
I know.
Well, I don't know. I lived through it twice in 75 and
Yeah. Yeah. But we did have good
that's
coverage.
when you get old. That's
But I will say there is another, so that was the regional, Northeast region. Then there is a national award too.
Okay.
And I'll look at the rules, but I believe we can submit for that one as well, because
Oh,
it's not the
absolutely.
calendar, it's not the calendar year all the time.
Oh, okay.
But
the
I'll-
fiscal
it
year.
might be calendar. I'll have to double check that, but
Yeah.
you're right. Why didn't they pick us for that?
Yeah,
So anyway, so that's the last of my updates.
that's because they,
Okay.
we thought, that we just fought here and the war ended. And Ken Burns has put out this program that shows the war goes on for 8 more years.
I know.
That's a
Gonna
great
watch that.
program though. Is everybody watching that, the Ken Burns one?
No, not yet, but I.
Oh, it's, if there's a way you can link, you can, or can say at the end of, or
Yes.
wherever artistically you put these things, that forward them to Ken Burns'
Mhm.
program on GBA, I think it's on GBH, or
Mhm.
B-
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would be great.
Okay. It's good. And I mean, he came here, right? He came.
Yeah, he was here,
in
yeah.
this actual studio
Yeah,
because he was at the high school promoting the film.
yeah,
Yeah.
So it would make sense. Okay.
yeah.
All right. That's it from me.
Okay, so we have mission statement, post Comcast contract. And we started to discuss this, during our last meeting. And the recommendation was made, precisely what you said, Corey, to meet only several times a year.
Okay,
And, that would cover both some of the budgeting
Yeah.
topics that
Mhm.
MMN goes through. And basically some of the things that come up in terms of the responsibilities for managing the Comcast contract.
Mhm.
We are in theory supposed to be having at least one annual session according to the Comcast contract to field any issues that individual citizens or anybody else has about Comcast service.
Can I make a suggestion here? If we do an annual meeting, and you tell me if there's a problem with this, that we really highlight the station, that we do something bigger.
We can do that.
And
A lot of towns do that.
showcase the work that you've done.
Oh, that would be great.
Because I think anytime that we can show a ratepayer or a taxpayer
Okay.
what we've been doing, what's
Right.
being done,
So right.
they're much more appreciative.
Yeah, well, in fact, what you were doing there in terms of summarizing, the clips of accomplishments during the year.
Right, yeah, maybe we showed the clip
Yeah.
thing or,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and perhaps we could, if we do it after hours, perhaps we can meet at the
Here.
auditorium and then
Oh, yeah.
come. Is there a way to,
Yes.
because you could show the film in the
There's
auditorium.
a way.
All
A
right.
quick way to come.
Oh,
here.
good. And because we could do tours and
Would
so we
be
could,
nice.
do people like the idea of just making it an occasion and inviting the,
Yes.
the
Makes a
town?
lot of sense. Yeah.
Because a
Yeah,
lot of stations
absolutely.
do that, have an annual meeting where you invite the public, come listen to what we're up to. I would talk, I'd show some clips.
Yeah.
Explain about our awards. That would be great.
Indeed.
Will we get someone from Comcast to attend?
Do we need someone from Comcast?
Make them work a little bit, make them meet real
That's
people.
not a bad idea, because they could hear the public input.
Yeah,
There you go,
yeah.
we could do a Q&A.
Yes,
Well,
so you get a twofer.
They may
Yeah.
not think of it because, they have a PR department and furthermore, they're losing subscribers now, not only on cable TV, but actually they're losing internet subscribers now.
Sure.
They
Because of,
cord cutting, and well, what it is, it's competition from the so-called fixed wireless. Like for instance, in Concord now, and I believe this is very recent, you can sign up for Verizon or T-Mobile, and they will give you a box. And basically, it will then be your internet service. And the way that it works is that box basically has antennas that just goes out to the antennas that Verizon and T-Mobile have in the town. So that then is usually complements your phone service.
okay,
So in fact, you can get a discount, I think, if you have, your Verizon phone and then
Yeah.
you also subscribe to Verizon Wireless.
We don't know how many people take advantage of that. I assume nobody
I-
will tell us.
not Verizon, but Comcast has a deal. I mean, my
No, I
son,
know. Right, but for the wireless carriers, I'm sure don't tell us how many people have that in town.
Actually, it's very recent because I just discovered last week and just out of curiosity. And I still haven't verified this, how many people have picked up on it, but if they have done this, it's actually probably within even the last few months. I know in the case of T-Mobile, that one of their sub-carriers who's called, it's Mint Mobile, it's the thing that Ryan Reynolds advertises on TV, if you've ever seen that.
Yeah.
And anyway, Mint Mobile is now offering that same fixed wireless service through Mint Mobile, which means that, it's 3 steps down on, on the internet
Right.
chain at this point. But then again, you can get your cell phone service through Mint Mobile. So it's the same process again, If you sign up for the cell phone service, then, they kind of throw that in as a complimentary service. And I think they probably offer you a little bit more streaming minutes or something like that.
I know Comcast, though, this was years ago, because I've been on it. My cell phone only cost me $15 a month. When I want, I mean, and that was a big difference from $150 a month, so. That's huge.
And the cell carriers are very competitive.
And it covers my landline,
Yeah.
which I still have.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So we Erwin, to follow up on that, I think we should make a note that at the annual meeting is do something to let people know there are other options. Have somebody from Comcast there and maybe Verizon, and who's the other one, Mobile T?
Yeah, T-Mobile. Yes.
T-Mobile, so that they can
I
see.
doubt that they would send, I mean, there's no contract with the town, so I can't imagine that they would send anybody, but Comcast, because there's a contract with the town, would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think, and Comcast would get a little upset if we had an event and promote, invited other services to come.
All right, so we'll just do that.
Yeah, we can have the
Maybe-
town talk about their fiber, that'd be all right.
Yeah, maybe the town, like from the Concord Light Plan is where the town.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Broadband is.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
invite
Yeah.
one of them, because they, another way you can get Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Town, you get your electricity.
Well, yeah, let the town come also,
right.
and I think if you promote that way, people might come.
We invite the town. I mean, we only live here.
Right. No, I think if you say, someone from the town and Comcast will be here, you're likely to get more people to show.
Yeah,
I agree. We
Well,
should figure out what time of year be a good year to do it. Maybe in the spring.
yeah, so that we don't bump into when you're required to be everywhere all at the same time. So what time shouldn't we pick? Let's know that now, because we don't have the facility, I think, to pick the moment.
Right.
But
have
we
to
should know
see-
what we can't pick.
Yeah, we should see what their school schedule is too.
Okay, yeah, the school schedule, town meeting schedule.
Yeah.
So
The rec
April,
schedule.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And when, do we have any elections this year?
Yes, right. I think March.
March?
Yeah.
April and March are kind of funny.
Yeah.
So unless we want to do it after that or before that, we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then after that, we get into graduation. That
Right,
does,
in
and
June.
then somewhere in there is going to be Carlisle's town meeting too. Then if we would do it in the summer, we might not get a lot of
No,
attendance.
no, we wanted, during the school year. Because everybody,
All right, we'll think about it. We'll noodle over. it.
okay, yeah, we can be thinking about that. And why doesn't everybody sort of just jot down ideas until we meet again?
Yeah.
About what we should be thinking of for the annual meeting. And so when we come back, we have ideas to incorporate or
Okay.
put aside for another day.
I have a question. Are Corey and Erwin, are you both, you're staying on next year, right?
Correct.
So do we need to look for new board members?
Yes, I have approached someone and he's interested. I don't know how to go about the whole green card thing.
Mm.
Because don't
Well-
they need a green card?
They
Or-
they do, and but it's a fairly simple process. They have to be approved by the
The
select board.
Yeah,
And really, they should just update their green card, appropriately. And then when they're nominated or recommended by, in particular, the committee that they want to join, then the select board will pick up on that, when it's made. When the select board is requested to appoint them, basically.
but we could use more than one member too, right?
I was gonna ask, and Megan's staying on, right?
I
Or
believe
is she?
so. I don't know.
Well,
if it-
no, I thought I read one of her returns that she might be, her career might
Right.
keep pulling her away.
Well,
I was gonna ask Erwin and Sandy if you know of people, I mean, I think the only way we can do this, and I don't mean to interrupt Vincent, is word of mouth from members. That's why like the person I went to lives at Concord Green, and he does PR for theatrical performances and stuff. So he knows the biz. But somebody who is interested in this kind of an operation, because we're not at the finance committee, so they're not going to storm our houses. You know, we're not building a school. So,
Right, right, right.
you know, so it's a much easier way to serve than a lot of
Yeah.
other committees.
Yeah.
And I just want to note Megan just joined. So
Oh, good. Hi, Megan.
Megan.
Hello, sorry. I had to pick the kids up from school and then I wasn't getting service, so I'm so sorry to have missed most of the meeting.
We literally just said your name.
Oh, that's so funny. And as you can hear, I have people in the background. Hold on. Sorry about that.
Are you staying on the committee come 2026?
If you want me back, I would love to, but like I said, you know, as you probably have observed, it's my days, as much as I can plan, they change pretty frequently. So
Yeah.
I would like to, but I don't know if you think it'd be better served with somebody who can be more consistent.
Well, we love having you, Megan. Megan, would you know any neighbor or friend who might be interested in joining too? We're trying to recruit more members so that there isn't the problem of a quorum. But we're moving the meetings. We just took a vote to do quarterly meetings rather than
Right. Yeah. Okay. I will think about that. I'm trying to think of anybody who, I don't know. I'll definitely think about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Because I think the more we can,
Yeah.
you know, for somebody who'd like to join a town committee, and this is a good way for people to get their feet wet if they've never been on a
Absolutely.
committee before.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you know what you're doing. Somebody could learn from you.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I take my cues from you.
But I think it's nice to have a mix of people who
Yeah.
are familiar with how town government works. They've been on committees before, you know, that part of it. And then maybe also somebody who has, you know, the professional background or creative background, you know, a nice mix of that. Because you do need to understand, you know, the town piece of it, you know, like when I have to come up against budgets and who all the players are and
Yeah, and that your salaries have been moved over on the but are
side.
paid for with, you know,
Yeah.
with the subscription, the Comcast
Yeah.
subscription. So yeah, you know, but that isn't anywhere near as Byzantine as government generally gets. So
Okay. Good.
when you see what Sandeep has to read,
Ugh.
oh.
Yeah.
you know, it puts me right to bed most days.
It what?
Puts me right to bed.
Oh,
That's
you
funny.
know, I mean, that's when I realized I couldn't go to law school. I couldn't stay awake during tax or torts or, you know.
Yeah.
Well, formally, Corey, both you and I are cycling off,
Yeah.
you know, and
Oh, you
I
are.
would
So-
like,
No,
I'd
it's
like to
bad.
be, you know, engaged in
V-
something.
V-
but
Vince,
never-
on that point, the website says Corey stays on till May 27 or March 27.
Uh,
I'm not sure
So-
it'll live that long, but
Yeah, it's sorry, it says May 31, 27 is when
Oh,
your term expires. And
That's
I-
been updated a couple of times and,
is it? Okay.
no.
Well, I know, whenever we do get our new list,
Yeah.
all we have to do is send it to Kari Tari for her blessing and then to Donna, and then the change will be made on the website. So I know
Okay.
how to get it done. I just don't know if we're ready yet to make change. Well,
Yeah,
I guess
we're
we can update it as much as we want.
No. Well, yeah, according to the formal dates, you know, when people
Yeah.
are appointed. So
Yeah.
that's the important thing.
And then,
Oh.
okay. So Corey, you're with us until 27.
apparently
How about Erwin?
can't get rid of me.
And how about Erwin?
Irwin, let's see. May 31, 26 is what it shows right now.
Yeah, well, I
Okay.
think Erwin and Megan, I think you both joined close to the same time, or at least the same year anyways.
Yeah.
And how
I
about
could check
Megan?
with Carlin on that, because I think she'll remember. I don't think she's sitting
It's
here.
on the website too. You can
Oh.
click on that too. It'll
Yeah,
say-
That's
been
what-
a couple of times, and that's the issue, is that several hands have been involved, I think, with that editing.
We can
the website.
correct it.
Yeah,
We can make it right. All right, so
I'm definitely cycling off this year, and I'd like to be engaged in some fashion, but it's definitely not as chair. So one of the issues that comes up right now
Who's gonna
is
be chair?
who, is maybe not interested, but willing to be chair.
so if we have Corey, Erwin, Sandeep, Megan, and Paul, was it just maybe one more person you'd want to
Paul
add?
is this
Well, it's
like-
only a liaison.
Yeah, I have one person. I'm just thinking of another too.
Do you think we need one more or two more people?
I'm always for inclusion. So if I could talk more people into doing it is the issue. I would take more.
Okay, more
'Cause
the
they-
merrier,
Because of the,
because we know they're gonna cycle off soon.
yeah.
That'll be
yeah,
here before you
yeah,
know it.
Yeah, so we've got,
And the quorum rules.
yeah, we've got to
Oh.
start filling in.
Go ahead, Sandy.
Sorry.
All right.
Share screen.
Yeah, no, this is what I was showing. So
But you're right, because we're gonna lose Sandeep.
Yeah.
I mean, Erwin and Megan soon. Okay, can you all see that? I'm gonna bring this closer so you can see it. This is what's on the website now.
Do we know if that's right?
well,
Well, Sandeep and
Excellent
Paul
question.
on it. Okay, so,
Yeah, I'll ask Carlin about this list too, because she, has been here, since day zero, basically, of the advisory.
so,
committee.
somebody from the board needs to officially contact Kari Tari or Lori Austin to make that change, to
Mm.
add Sandeep and Paul's name.
So one of us has to do
Yeah,
that?
or yeah. I mean, I think maybe I can do it on your behalf, but because technically I'm not a board member, so I don't know if I can, but why don't we work through this right now?
Oh,
So
yeah, why don't we do this?
what we would do is, so,
Can- Could I volunteer to be
yes.
just the chair for this year?
Oh, right.
oh, I can motion to
do you-
make you chair for
Erwin,
till the
do
end
you
of your
want to
term.
be chair? I mean, I'm not good at this.
You're
Not me
very good
either.
at this. What are you talking about? I've seen your
I mean-
shows. And you were a former TV host here at Concord Carlisle TV. She has her own show.
Yeah, but I don't understand any part of the, Erwin, you want to be chair, sweetheart?
No, I've
You're-
been pretty clear.
Huh?
I've been pretty clear that's not the direction I want to head in.
So am I in fact now, other than Megan, the only one? Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely can't be a chair. I'm sorry, I wish I could.
okay,
That's great.
okay. So I can work with you, right?
That would be
And-
amazing.
Yeah, all right, all
Be a
right.
good team.
Yeah, yeah, we would.
Okay. Well, that's exciting. Okay, so then looking at
How did
this,
I do that? And I said I wasn't gonna do that when I.
well, if you can sleep on it, sleep on it.
No, we need to chill. We need to move.
Okay.
I want to make sure that, I mean, it's my goal as an individual member is that this station has everything it needs to do the remarkable job that it does.
Thank
Mhm,
you.
Absolutely.
Lucky to have you all.
Well, and lucky to have this, and I think that the community needs to know more about us.
Yeah. Okay, so then on this chart, I would submit the following changes then. I would say where it says Corey's name, May 31st, 2027, instead of position member, it would say chair. Then we would add a line for Sandeep. Do you know when your term expires? Sandeep?
So that's the one I've highlighted. I think the school rep is
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay,
Uh,
where it says vacancy, we would just put your name.
yep, and this would be Paul.
And excellent.
And Julie, I think this would be you.
Okay.
Right?
What,
I don't know.
What does ex officio
Minuteman
liaison
Media
mean?
Network, ex officio.
What's that mean?
right.
I don't know what it means.
Means non-voting.
Well,
No,
that's
technically.
what we have with Carlisle currently, that town manager, the manager there is ex officio member of our,
Does anybody know the exact definition of ex officio? So every time I think I know these things, it turns out to be different. All right, where's my Safari? Maybe I
Yeah.
can get up.
if we had AI, we could get the formal definition.
I wish I should be able to get it here.
Okay, I can make these changes. So where it's vacancy, select board, I'll
I look stuff up on your phone.
Sure. You want to see what ex officio
Yeah,
means?
just that,
Sure.
I just want to know what the
Yeah, someone's a member of a board, committee, or group because they hold a specific office or position, not by election or appointment to that role. So Julie, by virtue of the fact that she is the, manager of Minuteman Network, is ex officio.
and Sandeep and Paul.
Okay.
Well, I don't think it applies to Julie in that sense. Like what we have here is listed, on our current membership here, is we have Ryan McLean of Carlisle as the ex officio member of this committee. And of course, that makes absolute sense since, Carlisle doesn't have any other formal representation, even though he never attends the meeting. And actually, it's always Nancy Pierce.
Right.
And Nancy
And she's
Pierce,
really here for the Mosquito, isn't she? Their newspaper, their town.
I think she was involved with the
Yeah.
Mosquito, but she's, in terms of regular attendance, she is always in regular attendance. Matter of fact, I'm not sure why she isn't here today. That's quite surprising.
Can we make a note,
mean,
Julie, that we
Vince,
need
you could be an ex officio member by virtue of the fact that you're the former chair, if that's what
Well,
is decided.
there's something called an auxiliary member, and that actually came up at the chair's breakfast meeting this morning. There are some committees that do have auxiliary members, and it means that you're not a voting member.
Right.
But it's of a particular topic that interests you, so you're interested in sitting in and maybe speaking up at that point.
Yeah.
I would be interested at that level.
We could also ask Kari Tari. They just did recently 2 effective governance seminars, which are on YouTube, by the way.
Indeed.
Really helpful for committee
Oh,
committee
good.
members, with all these kinds of details. And maybe she could tell us what ex officio means versus
Yeah.
auxiliary versus,
Yeah, and what we should do when we make that inquiry is also inquire Carlisle, whom they'd like to, because
Okay.
if the town manager doesn't show up, that's okay if he or she sends a designee.
Okay.
And we can figure out how we do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's never showed up, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I can understand.
yeah,
like the
town
town
managers
manager.
are
Yeah.
pretty busy.
Right,
Yeah.
So that's not an appointment that, I mean, I understand that
Right,
he didn't show up, but Carlisle needs representation,
Okay.
yeah,
that will show up.
Okay.
So we'll just have a friendly conversation, say, look,
Right.
we don't want at the end of the year for you to say, God, we never had a say in anything.
Right.
Um,
Good point. Okay. Well, I will send these edits to the town clerk's office. That'll just be a quick email. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to, oh no, we did talk about minutes. Yeah. I'm working on the minutes too.
well, before the end of the year, I also will mention it to Mark Howell. He's the chair of the select board this year. And, because the select board is the one that, basically approves the membership of the committees. And this year, indeed, our mission has changed significantly, so I think that the select board will at least like to look at that and, so they acknowledge what's changed, particularly in terms of the scheduling of the meeting.
Okay.
okay, do they have to prove?
They do in a way, yeah.
All right.
Because they were basically responsible for, all of the committees in town. And of course, one of the issues in town has always been that there's too many committees, basically. But, I mean, they like to get as many people engaged with government as possible. So, it's always been that kind of a trade-off.
Okay.
Oh, and I know there is a group working out of the Right Tavern, and Sandeep is familiar with this group too, that is trying to increase and welcome participation, because a lot of citizens don't know that they could be part of it. They think it's for an elite group of experts.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Some people, they have various opinions, but we're trying to reach out to the population in general, saying, would you like to serve on the board? This is a good board to start with.
Okay.
Because it's smaller and,
Get to learn a lot.
pardon me?
I said you get to learn a lot of the processes and how things happen.
All right, so who's the chair of the select board right now? Do we know?
Mark Howell.
Mark
Yeah.
Howell. All right, so I should be calling Mark Howell and just checking in with next steps if we need to have a meeting in front of the select board to.
Right.
Okay.
Well, it's not so much a meeting, but they definitely have to approve it. And considering the changes, in the mission statement,
Okay.
because it will be a significant change. One of the
Do
things.
we have a marked up mission statement that, so the changes are obvious? No? Yes? No?
We don't have it marked up, but we reviewed it, I think, the last time with Jason, but that was about 6 months ago, Julie. There's currently 12 points on the mission statement.
Yeah, that needs to
Yeah.
be.
And
Cleaned up.
yeah, you should review that because that does change quite a bit, I think, in some of the areas. The areas which particularly interested me is that one of the roles of the PAC Advisory Committee more broadly is that it alerts the town and makes recommendations on changes in the industry and in the technology. For instance, the fact that Comcast, for instance, is going through tremendous changes because they've been losing membership, and they actually now have a new CEO who I just think came on board this year, and he's expected to make additional changes. As a matter of fact, the whole cable operation is being spun off as a subsidiary because they consider, cable, formal cable TV and Comcast's role as kind of ancillary to the broader ambitions that Comcast has in programming and some other activities. So that doesn't affect, the revenue stream at all because really, they're going to milk the revenue stream through the subsidiary as much as they can. And it's not like it's a completely separate entity, it's just a captive.
All right, I'm a real neophyte here on this. Are they going to be affected by the big purchase that's going on now, that the president switches sides every 2 seconds on who he's with, Paramount or Netflix or?
I don't know why he's involved with that. So, he shouldn't be sticking into that. I mean, he's interfering.
No, but I'm wondering if that merger is going to affect, we have a contract for the next 10 years, right?
Correct. No, it won't affect that.
Okay, that I know, but technology changes every
I
5
know.
minutes. To have a contract for 10 years.
Well, I'll read it again, and we can ask Jason to read it again, since, he knows it letter for letter
Okay,
in terms of what happens, if something happens to the ownership of Comcast,
Okay.
basically.
okay.
And I'll reread it too. So,
Okay. I just don't know if it's affected by the big.
Yeah.
Shouldn't. I mean, it's a contract.
I know, but they said that, and I'm sure every part of these businesses has contracts or something. I've never participated in a takeover. When one entity buys the other and what that does to their.
Yeah, they have to take over the obligations. I mean, this happens all the time.
Okay.
Clients people get sold all the time and contracts, no, they may decide to get out of the business and not renew a contract, but they'll have to, and service may go down and all that, but they still have to provide what was promised, no matter who the owner is.
Well, in addition to Jason, our advisor on the contract was Sue Buskey. And, that's her business, is basically advising people on, particularly, municipal governments on the proper things to do when the contracts come up. And she also did that same role for Carlisle.
Yeah, she was.
So she was very familiar, with both Concord and Carlisle. So,
Vince, I've got a question. At last meeting, we talked about, there was a statement made by the select board 3 or 4 years ago around
freedom of the press.
freedom of content on the PEG channel. Were you able to track that down?
I wasn't, I recalled it. I just didn't have time before this
That's
meeting.
fine.
Still planning
Okay.
to do that.
All right.
Yeah, and that came up because of the fact that there was partly a personal kind of dysfunction between CCTV when it was a nonprofit corporation
Mhm.
and Chris Whalen and the chair of CCTV at that
Right.
point had a kind of a personal dislike of each other. And
Well, Chris was trying to use the money to hire a deputy town manager.
yeah. And
I wasn't for that.
yeah, Chris Whalen, by the way, was town manager for, I think it was 28 years. And
Here?
the one thing that I say about him is that he was usually not necessarily the smartest guy in the room when they had select board meetings, as town manager, but he was the most well-informed. So the select board actually became very dependent on him.
Yeah,
And-
I would,
You may recall that era,
yeah, I
basically
very
like that.
vivid.
But he
vivid.
did collect some enemies along the way as well, as anybody, I guess, would, with that length of tenure. But, that's just an aside.
Yeah.
Only very.
If you could track that down, I'd be curious to see what it says. It'd be interesting to have that for our little annual meeting as well. Be
Yeah.
clear to everybody
What we do. The
it's
mission.
just what the town think, what's the town position on being able to put content up?
Right.
Yeah, we ought to talk about that more, because that gets difficult.
I know.
And we have some historically difficult people in town.
Yeah.
Who love the limelight.
Yeah.
So I can,
It'd be good to have that as a guidepost. Now, we go
yeah,
to the select board and ask them to change it, but this is what, hey, remember 3 years ago, this is what the town agreed to, whatever it says.
yeah, okay, can we find out what it says? Where is it? But I think,
I can tell
my-
you one point, there is a video of a First Friday meeting
Yes.
dating back from 2017 in which the
Yes.
topic came up. Chris Whalen was going to remain
Yes.
silent at that meeting. He came in, you were there and you were chewing him out drastically. And I will provide the link for that because I still think I have the link.
Oh,
Okay, I
would too.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, you say,
It's the First Friday meeting.
oh,
But
Skeptical First Friday meeting, yeah.
well, say chewing them out about the money?
You chewed him out, yeah, about his, well.
The government controlling the media. too,
Yeah.
Right.
Isn't a good idea.
Right.
Right, exactly.
And you were spot on. I mean.
I would love.
And he was gonna stay silent, but he just couldn't hold himself back, basically.
Yeah, we never agreed on that.
I would love to know why at that time. And I'm happy it did, but why CCTV became a town department? What is the why?
Well, the management of CCTV was dysfunctional. And this guy, I
Kruger.
really, shouldn't name names.
Okay,
too
all right,
much,
okay,
but,
okay. We can talk offline.
And I can't remember 2017. I'm assuming I was there. If there's film, I was
Yeah.
there.
Yes, yes. This League of Women Voters video that Vince is talking about is definitely on YouTube.
No,
Yeah.
Corey, it's deep fake. Can
Yeah.
you just say it wasn't me?
Yeah, I wasn't even in the country.
Okay, but thank you. We've talked
Yeah.
about it. Okay, so what else do we have to discuss today?
Public comments. Is anybody on Zoom that wants to comment?
Well, just a comment on the mission statement. So that does need to be updated. So
Mhm.
those 12 points, should be reviewed. And
Okay.
some
At
of
the
the,
next meeting, we can review that.
Sure.
And I
Is
think
this
that
a mission statement that we created or the town created?
it's really, the last draft is mainly due to the town at this point. I mean, they did the original charge.
Right.
That's interchangeable with the word charge, by the way, in this case, they call it the charge to the committee in many cases. And I'd have to check with Carl and see how much she was involved with it, because, Carlin is kind of the presiding spirit, she's been involved with this since it was formed, basically during the takeover era there. So
I guess the question is, can we just amend it or does the town have to amend it?
I would say that it should be recommended to the select board, because
Okay.
they provide the charge for the committee. So if there's
All right.
a change,
Yeah,
it's
I
up to them
remember
to
seeing,
accept it.
I remember we reviewed it at a meeting and there was like 12 bullets. It's quite
Right.
long.
It is.
It's quite
yeah.
long. Yeah.
And I think at least the top of that list, will change according to what we've been discussing now.
Right.
With the number of meetings per year and things of that nature. Yeah, so that's entirely appropriate to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Aside from that, when Corey gets back, we can adjourn. And I don't know, Erwin, if you have a few minutes, and hopefully Julie, you do have, Sandeep and Megan, if you're around, there's kind of a saying, Yogi Berra said, when you come to a fork in the road, take it.
Mhm.
And I have some thoughts on the fork in the road, and there's another step which is really outside of the, the formal subject matter of this meeting that I'd like to, comment on, including Julie and Erwin, you in particular, and
Sure.
Sandeep also. So if you have a few minutes after we adjourn, I can discuss that because it's really out of the purview of, this committee.
Okay.
Good to stay on.
Okay. So,
And I do hear the band though in the back.
a little bit, yeah.
Are they
yeah.
doing Wednesdays now?
Well, they have, what time is it? So school it just got out. It's 2:48. So look, I don't know when they get out, 2:30-ish. And then it becomes open for the kids to go in
Oh.
after school.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right, so it isn't a formal,
The formal thing happens on Thursday.
yeah.
But then I guess it's open after school if you want to come in.
Hmm.
So it's not always, we don't always hear it on a Wednesday. But- So Sandeep, are we on the agenda for tonight's school committee meeting?
I don't know. Are we? I didn't
Well,
think so.
We were when we were in the chairs breakfast this morning,
Uh-huh.
and the woman who represents the middle school building committee.
That is a meeting tomorrow morning, not tonight.
Oh, okay. Got
Yeah. So the middle school building committee is having a meeting tomorrow morning, and yep, that I'm tracking. I'm like, wait, did I miss something for
Yeah.
tonight's meeting?
So I had never met her. So after the meeting, I introduced myself to her and talked a little bit about, this project of,
Yep.
That hopefully pass and, building the equipment and everything. So, okay, so that's tomorrow. All right, we'll see what happens.
Tomorrow, 7:30 in the morning.
Oh,
I'll be cooking eggs and attending the breakfast or meeting is what I'll be doing.
wow.
Megan, do you have any thoughts on what we've been discussing thus far?
You know what? No, it's been interesting. I like it, and no discussion, but I'm interested now to hear what you want to say after we adjourn.
Okay. Well, hopefully, fewer meetings will, be to your benefit and advantage.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I had a question for you on some of the programming, and one of the things that came up is basically, how many people ever read minutes of meetings? Corey, what I was just talking about is how many people actually ever read minutes of meetings or look at them?
I know that some town staff do, we get asked,
Okay, yeah.
but maybe because
I think,
they have to write them up.
Well,
and does anybody know if it's a open meeting law requirement?
I don't think so. It's,
To have
it's
meetings,
open meeting
minutes,
to
Minutes, yeah,
do them
yeah.
up,
Yeah.
and also when the open meeting law finally gets amended, as you know, it's been kind of pending in the last three legislative.
This legislature's not. gonna
Yeah,
do it.
yeah. I think they don't have to do it this year, but I know it's still there because it hasn't been updated since the pandemic. And
They haven't done any, we have the least transparent and accountable legislature.
Yeah.
And you can tell because they got about 2 things done last year.
Well, and they haven't ever voted for an open meeting law for themselves.
Right. I think that's a good thing to go on the ballot.
Yeah. But when it does change, the major kind of new things that have been introduced is that one was that the meeting had to be accessible so that people could not only, listen in on them, but also make comments, as, is common here in what we're doing. The other issue was that many towns did not really have enough of a budget to, provide for full-fledged open meetings such as we have now, and that was brought up by the MMA, Mass Municipal Association. But that apparently has been resolved, so, there is going to be subsidies to all of the towns, no matter what size, to have, an adequate budget to cover what they need to do to have coverage
I
of the
wouldn't
town meetings.
count on that.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know.
there are a lot of what they call unfunded mandates.
Oh.
Right, Sandeep?
That I'm still learning.
Yes. Oh, that's every community's favorite kind of law, an unfunded mandate. You got to do it, but we're not going to give you the money to do it.
Yeah, so obviously it doesn't affect towns like Concord, but it does affect some other, particularly very small towns, like Stowe, I think. Yeah, this is pretty close to us, is a population, I think, of 5,000 people.
Right.
And so it's
Yeah, I know.
difficult for towns of that size. And even Carlisle at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we are prepared to adjourn. If there's any public comments, and I don't think anybody is sitting in. Carlin usually sits in, but I know there was another competing meeting that she needed to attend. So, so if I have a motion.
I move that we adjourn.
I'll second.
So, Corey?
Yes.
Yes.
Sandeep? Megan?
Yes.
Yes.
Erwin?
Yes.
And I, so we are adjourned.
Excellent.
And as I say, everybody is welcome to sit in so I can discuss a possible fork in the road. And the fork in the road that I thought about, and it emerges partly, from the experience on the PEG Access Committee here, who, is kind of a techie committee in a certain sense. We deal with technology in a number of ways. And there are three types of meetings or mandates that are imposed on every municipality by the state. One is to have a general plan that is of kind of indeterminate length, but it's not less than 5 or more than 10 years. And in Concord's case, that is Envision 2030.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the last version of that was introduced was 10 years ago. Well, it was introduced 5 years ago and has 5 years more to run. Well, a lot has happened in 5 years. What's happened since then is a pandemic, which was kind of a monumental issue. I mean, it was a worldwide situation. And the other is that there are a number of changes in the way that all of the major functions, in Concord operate. For instance, the technology section, there was not even any mention of the internet in that plan when it was drafted, even though it was known. And when the government town meeting held its review, I think it was only 3 years ago now, they brought that up, although if you looked at all of the previous issues that had been covered in terms of any changes in town meeting, there had been changes recommended back, I think, in 1999, or definitely less than 10 years ago. And even at that stage, there had been some mention about, new technology and the internet. There was a more recent government study overall about 5 years ago, again, in which the internet came up and people mentioned the very positive influence of social media like YouTube. And that's come under a little bit of review at this point. And YouTube is not necessarily considered to be a positive force in all respects, even though it's really changed, the social media, how people kind of interact with each other. And in some cases, it's been a great benefit, particularly even for some old people, because they can get into touch with people that they haven't heard of for years. But it's kind of considered detrimental almost to younger people. And TikTok, is almost negatively reviewed by people at this stage.
There have been consequences as severe as youth suicide and youth suicide ideation because of things. They were showing kids how to kill themselves on TikTok.
So anyway, in the context of the long-term plan, there is a sector that deals with, what I would call connectivity, communication, and information. Connectivity is kind of infrastructure oriented, but it certainly includes the internet and cable and wireless infrastructure that we are benefiting from today. So again, as I said, that's not even mentioned in the current Envision 2030 plan.
So we need to give that
some thought. Now, connectivity also refers to all of the other types of infrastructure, such even the roads. But the roads are used in a somewhat different fashion today, even from the standpoint of communication. We still have the mailman, and he's not going to disappear.
I hope not.
But there's much more stuff that, is communicated, via email these days. It's obviously not a legal function, so mail still has to be delivered for, certain legal reasons. In any case, infrastructure is typically, physical infrastructure that you have to invest on for the town. The second, in terms of communication, so again, the three areas of this are infrastructure, connectivity in a broader sense, communications, and information. So communications, obviously exchanging information via one of the infrastructure methods. And that includes, what we are doing today. We are communicating, basically.
And the third one is what?
And the third one is information. So even though the pipes are flowing at this point, the information is really the content of the message. And that, in particular, I think to some extent we were talking about that, about the data, for instance, Erwin, you mentioned that in, the data that you're developing for clients, and that is information about their customers, for instance. And certainly one of the big things there is any kind of customer support issues. So this certainly applies to Comcast. And as I can attest, and we can all attest to, I was trying to get some update on my Blue Cross prescription plan for this upcoming year. I called them up. I was on hold for the first half hour until somebody was able to answer the phone. And so anything that can be done to improve that certainly fits into this picture. And specifically for Concord, it's the same thing on a smaller scale. We have a power department. We have, other departments that people want to talk to if their power has suddenly gone out in the middle of the night or something like that. So, they like to be sure that they have a connection to that. The information, Erwin, again, I think it applies to, the process that you've been doing with some of the people you've been dealing.
Right.
The tricky part is with the town, it's, there's privacy. That's very different than in the business world. Around that sort of data.
Around what?
Around, I would love to know, for example, okay, who in Concord is a former CEO who lives in Concord? The town's not going to provide that information because that's private. So you have privacy regulations around people's information.
Has it though?
What's that?
We still have the Nosy Book in town, don't we?
As far as I know.
The Nosy Book has that information.
Oh,
Sure.
all right.
No idea what that is.
Well, the
This is
Nosy
news.
Book, we used to use this all the time in electoral politics. And it's the book that, and I'm not sure what it's called when it's not called the Nosy Book, is just the local vernacular. But it lists your age and your occupation. So it's a twofer.
Oh,
So
yes.
it's
So you get that from the town, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
saying-
You always used to be able to. The problem is I have to sort of footnote everything I say because it's changed.
No, so I can attest the fact that I was able to get it last year, right?
Okay.
When the town the caucus nominated me, they did give here's the book with all of that information. So
Okay.
Or is it electronic or is it just a book?
it's both. So they hand you a book, but I'm like, what am I going to do with this? Can you send it to me electronically? And they did. They
Okay,
did.
all right.
I wonder if there's somebody on that list that was a CEO of a company that would make sense to join our board.
Ooh, good question. Can I use it for that?
Yeah, let's see.
Who's
All
got
right.
it? Do you have?
I have the version from last year. I can look it up.
Share it? Yeah, can you share it? And can you also maybe peruse it with the people that you know and just say,
Yeah.
maybe
I-
this person will know.
And if you don't have time to peruse, I'll peruse. Then I'll be
I-
nosy
I-
and peruse the book.
I can do that. I will though check with the town clerk to make sure I can share it before I get in trouble. But I don't see why not. They did share with the citizens, so.
Yeah, yeah, I think
Yep.
it's public record because these are
Okay.
things
Yeah.
that, that were picked up. But Sandeep, I will say, I'm not anywhere near as old as the nosy book says I am.
Okay, all right. Keep that in
I,
mind.
I wouldn't trust that. That's all fake news.
Oh, I'm just teasing. So we used to have a ball with that as kids,
Yeah,
going
yeah.
through the book. Oh, Mrs. So-and-so is 76.
Oh, I'm gonna get my hands.
So here's another
Okay, so
interesting
go
fact
ahead.
about YouTube. YouTube has metrics that can say what you looked at when you were on YouTube looking for something.
Mm.
And we've seen an evidence of this, I believe, through YouTube, but maybe also through other means, of this recent murder trial.
Oh, the
Boston, what's his
the-
name, McLean, I think, I forget.
who murdered his wife?
Yeah, who murdered his wife.
Right.
And, you know, it was discovered that, you know, he was investigating how to dispose of chopped up bodies and things.
Yeah,
Oh,
on
my
his,
gosh.
on his kid's computer.
Yeah, yeah. And some of those metrics are available because they can track what you've been looking at on YouTube. And so privacy is not even mentioned in that context, but
Yeah,
I don't think you can tune out of it exactly, or if you can, it means basically you're erasing your whole history, which means that every time, you know, you sign on, you've got to go through some kind of login or recollection process. So,
Why don't we pick our next date for a meeting? Because I've got to run. So
okay. Yeah, I
um,
just wanted to mention the other two major sectors that are not, you know, connectivity, communication, information, and that's housing,
okay.
and that hasn't been updated. But we know that because of the prison closing and the MBTA Communities Act, that Concord now has basically a once in a lifetime and perhaps for the last time to have again, another major increase in population, hopefully to the good. So that's the housing part. The third part is governance, again, which is discussed in somewhat a backward-looking sense in Vision 2030. And again, the role of government has changed. As I mentioned, just some of the changes in the way that the town meetings are held and some of the things that the League of Women Voters does. One of the main things that comes up there, and to some extent the open meeting law operates against it, is that the opportunities for deliberation have significantly narrowed. And that is because of the open meeting law to some extent. And of course, I think it's always been true of town meetings. And I'm speaking a little bit out of school here because, you know, I am not a lifetime resident, or I haven't been engaged with government for that long. As a matter of fact, you know, 10 years at the most. One of the first things I noticed is that it's almost impossible to do any deliberation, even to exchange emails, you know, if they would potentially infringe on the open meeting law, which they do. So one of the particular values, for instance, of a venue like the League of Women Voters is that they can actually deliberate at length because they are not bound by the same laws. You know, they're basically a voluntary organization. So some of the most useful deliberations on topics in Concord take place because of League of Women Voters in Concord and Carlisle. And I think, Corey, you would, you know, attest to that.
I would attest to that. And I would also say that Concord's League is considered by many in Concord as the gold standard. So that people have a lot of confidence in their process.
So what I'm proposing overall, and I would say lobbying overall at this point to, you know, everybody that can bring into the lobby, and I hope the people here can consider it as well in bringing people into the lobby, is that at the halfway point that we revisit Envision 2030 and say, well, there have been enough changes that we should make some formal amendments now and consider even going out beyond 2030, because what we now is with the advent of AI that is almost impossible to predict what the world is going to look like 10 years from now. It's going
5 years from now.
It's going to be profound.
1 year from now. Yeah. Can I just say something really fast? I'm with SAG, with the Screen Actors Guild, and we put together legislation and we got it through. I think we put it in front of the State House, and it's really hard to even get basic AI legislation passed in states. So I know Simon Cataldo was trying to get him to, sign off on this. I'm not sure where we're at with it, but it's just basic stuff, and even that's hard to get pushed through. So yeah, the AI stuff is real. It's happening now. It's not going to be 5 years. It's 1 year, stuff that's already happened. So yeah.
And I don't know where the legislature is on AI because it's sort of developed after I left.
Right.
But I do know how they are on technical things. They did a study at the beginning of 2000, Speaker Finneran had a freshman in my class go to the surrounding legislatures to see what they had available.
Right.
And they all had, their desks were wired for a computer. They all had computers at their desk, and they could see any changes to any bill. It was in different color. That was in 2000, and today it's 2026, and I don't know this for sure, but I feel confident enough in their inability and incompetence to say they have yet to implement this.
Yeah. Yeah. And in the big, beautiful bill, whatever that thing is.
No, that's on the federal level. Yeah.
Yeah. On the federal level, what I'm trying to say is that if that passes, there's a stipulation in there for 10 years that states aren't allowed to write legislation on AI. So that's part of that.
Yeah.
bill.
I couldn't believe that people let, first of all, right now the states are, and we ought to be on top of this. The states are the only ones that are willing to regulate AI. Although I don't know where our expertise would come from, but I'm sure, I constantly reminded the State House we were right across from the river from the smartest people in the world. Just go ask them; they'll tell us, for free.
Well, that raises the point about, we being a center of, technology and AI at this point. Erwin, since you were previously with the Forrester Research, what today would they be involved with? And by the way, there's an interesting thing that happened just about during the transition time a few years ago when you left them. And I know this applied to McKinsey also, is that for some reason, there was kind of a hiatus or a hold on hiring. And McKinsey, even people that they had already, signed up, told them, well, take a vacation, take the next 3 months off before you show up, because there was some kind of, and I don't remember the exact reason for the hiatus, but now I assume that that's the main thing that, many consulting firms, and considering Boston Consulting Group and McKinsey, who's got, I think, 200 people, in Boston, in the Boston area there, Forrester Research, what is the main thing that they're dealing with these days?
Well, AI only. Yeah, that's all they think about.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's
And surviving. In Forrester's case, they're thinking of surviving.
Yeah. So there's one other aspect of this.
Because these consulting firms are being deeply impacted by AI. It's like, why should I pay $100,000 when I can get, I can get a lot of that value just for free.
Yeah.
So those guys are suffering. Gartner, all of them.
Well, one thing I think here that's a possibility, if we can take a kind of an organized approach to this, I think there's a possibility that, as a municipality, since I think, few municipalities are really dealing with this comprehensively, that we're being an opportunity to get grants to, to deal with this, in a more systematic basis. And I mean, that's a very ambitious kind of a thing to say, but the need is there. It would be good to do it in any case. But, if it's possible, to kind of show enough leadership or at least organization in what we would be doing, that I think we can even, get some grants to do that. And in fact, I'm thinking particularly of the MIT Media Lab, because they have one segment that deals with civic issues and may be of particular interest.
Can you research that and get us a contact and see how,
Yes, I'll certainly plan to do that.
so that we can have the information for the next meeting and because I would, first of all, I'd love to go into MIT and see that.
Well,
And-
in a previous period of employment, I did, and it's because the chief of engineering was, an MIT graduate. And
Okay.
so one of the benefits you get if you contribute enough is, you get some special
Oh,
treatment.
yeah, I know.
So they made contributions, to MIT and to the Media Lab and got special treatment in that regard. And I recall going down in several sessions there. And at that time, one of the things that was getting worked on was something called a workstation. And that was basically the predecessor of, the personal computer. But, the power of a workstation at that point was somewhat less than a smartphone today, an iPhone. But in any case, and it was a big thing that sat on the floor, but they were on top of it at that point, and that continues today, really, in what they're
Okay.
doing.
Can we set up a time for the next meeting? I'll be away in January until January 11th. Do we want to meet in the first month or at the end of January?
End of January is good for me.
Erwin,
Yeah, that's all right.
Sandeep? Must be away from his screen.
And I'll be happy to sit in on, just not
Yeah.
even an auxiliary member basis, but, really just to sit in on the
Okay,
next
let me
meeting.
see what dates we're talking about. Julie has not here. Does anybody have a calendar in front of them? Megan, what's today, Wednesday? What is the last two, the dates for the last two Wednesdays in January?
So the 21st or the 28th?
All right, the 28th, this is in, are any of those dates better or worse for anybody?
They are equal for me.
Okay,
Let me check. I think same for me.
any preferences
Yeah.
for either one?
Mm-mm.
Why don't we do the 28th? Because that'll give me time to go have conversations with people
Okay.
that I need to have. And are we gonna do it at 1:30 again? Is this a good time or a bad time?
It's a good time unless the kids need something because it's a half day of the middle school, but I don't think they'll need, we'll see how it goes. I think it should be fine though.
Okay, we can always change.
28th at 1:30?
Yep, 28th at 1:30. And Vince, in the interim, I'll sit down with you,
Right.
sit down with Julie.
Yeah.
Okay, because I've got to run and the minute I run, I'll have a horrible case of FOMO.
Okay.
But
Well, happy holidays.
Before you leave, Cory.
Yeah.
So what do people think about this idea of having, kind of a mid-course update to Envision 2030?
Envision 23 or 30.
30.
I think it's a great idea, and I think what we can do while doing that,
Right.
there is a group of citizens been meeting in Wright Tavern over issues like this. We can enlarge our sources of input.
Okay, and I will look
Yeah.
at, just in terms of, seeing how this kind of approach would apply, with other people. I don't know, is that everybody else or Erwin, for instance, do you think this is a good idea? Megan, do you think it's a good idea?
Yeah.
I think it has to be incredibly focused, because otherwise it's just, then it gets all over the place and,
Well, no, we can structure it so it's,
right.
Oh, by the way, I didn't mention what the other third leg of this tripod is that's imposed by the state. And that is the planning board and the zoning of the town.
Hmm.
Basically, that becomes a bylaw of Concord. So that has to be done on a periodic basis, and I forgot exactly what that period was, but that certainly flows into this. And because there's two so highly significant elements in the new housing, one of them is the closing of the prison. That will result in many, 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 many new opportunities for housing. And the other is the MBTA Communities Act, which is the one, that affects all of the communities that are adjacent to train stations. And it looks like Concord almost fulfills some of that because
They do,
of Concord
they do.
Green.
yeah.
And so I don't know if that fulfills all of it, but it fills a very significant portion.
Well, we
of
have
it.
220 units,
Yes.
so that's a lot. And if the development on Baker Ave goes through, there's supposed to be 300 apartments on that.
Whoa.
That's a lot of
Mhm.
housing. And then if you take the areas around downtown Concord and the areas around West Concord Station, that's a lot of housing within 10 minutes walk of the
Mhm.
station. So,
And Erwin, I don't know if this may be of particular interest to you, but I know since you've been using the, what is it, the auxiliary dwelling units, but, it's the Airbnb
Yeah.
thing. And I don't know if you've been looking into an auxiliary dwelling unit, as maybe a more comfortable way or maybe an opportunity to, kind of manage that on a.
No, our house doesn't work for that, but actually I'm pretty familiar with the whole process. I
Yeah.
got some neighbors that are looking at it.
And that is one additional source of housing for Concord is that
Right.
the auxiliary dwelling units
Yeah.
now have been strengthened quite a bit. As much as California understand it, so that you can do it, without an endless series of approvals by the town.
can't do anything in this town without endless series of. Erwin, how is the energy on the extra housing, the auxiliary units? How is
I know, I know people looking at it.
in
What I
favor
don't know
of
is there's one in our neighborhood that's gone up and sounds like was relatively easy process.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. I don't know how many people have applied for them.
I've been waiting for 20 years for a constellation to appear in the sky where we would have really high energy cost and a really cold winter. Get people more in favor because we have a lot of seniors who want to keep their big house.
Yeah.
Don't want to pay the taxes.
Yeah.
And this clogs up everything in the flow of housing. Because for a long time you had leadership in Boston who thought we had more of a demographic crisis than a housing crisis, where two or one person were living in a dwelling that housed 6 or 7 people. So if we can move in that direction, that gets people can live in their own, stay in their own home and yet offer housing to other folks too. In the same location, but I gotta fly.
Okay. Me too. I have to go
Yeah.
in the-
All right.
In the interim,
Sorry.
I'll be in touch with you.
Good. Well, thank you, Corey.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Excited.
everybody.
Oh, thank you all for
Take
staying.
care.
Bye.
Have a wonderful holiday.
Okay.
Happy holiday. Thanks, Vince. Bye, everybody.